So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 9 on season 2 on our F1 Manager 23 save. Now if you didn't watch the last episode, my god, go back and watch that one because it was brilliant in Barcelona for the Andretti Cadillac. 6th and 7th we finished. It was a chaotic Grand Prix. There were safety cars, there was red flags, possibly the worst start we've ever seen in terms of a crash at the start of turn 1. It was absolutely chaotic, but Max Verstappen won as per usual. That means standings wise, as we can see, drivers standings wise, Max Verstappen leading the way by 50 odd points from his teammate Checo Perez. Our guys closely knit together in P8 and P9, just 2 points separating them. And in the constructors, we're in P5 chasing down Mercedes in front. You'll be delighted to know we have got an upgrade for this weekend as well. If we just have a quick look at the build of the car, we've got a new rear wing on the car this weekend, and that is going to make a massive difference indeed. If we have a look at that on the right hand side in terms of rank on grid, it's quite a significant upgrade for that rear wing, so I'm excited to see what it's going to do here in Canada because we're in Montreal for this episode. 70 laps around here. Valtteri Bottas holds the lap record. Car attributes, top speed, the rear wing will help that. And if we have a look at the expected strategy, it is a one stop. A two stop can be viable, but it all depends in terms of weather and other things that happen during the race. But I'm going to get through practice and we're going to get into qualifying and see what this new rear wing can do in Canada. Huge shock in Q1. Lewis Hamilton is out in 19th place. Went for a second run, didn't improve. Our two guys just had the one run, so we've saved a set of tyres. But big shock for Lewis Hamilton when his teammate is all the way up in 5th. Fernando Alonso topped the session on to Q2. Final flying laps in Q2. Can we make it in to Q3 with either car? Let's have a look. As Esteban Ocon crosses the line, only good enough for P12. It all relies on Pierre Gasly, who doesn't improve enough. So both cars are out in Q2, P11 and P12. These Haas cars looking incredibly quick at the moment, but both cars out in Q2. So then guys, strategy time. Now, the one stop was the sort of standard, but I think we can do the two stop. We've got 2 sets of soft compound tyres for both cars, fresh. I feel it's a bit daft not to use them, so we're going to use them soft, medium, soft on both cars. We can change strategy depending on if there's safety cars and things like that, but P12, P11, aggressive from the start on the driver options. Let's go for it and see if we can score some more good points for Andretti this weekend. I'm just hoping this strategy is going to pay dividends.
70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix await our drivers here in Montreal. And we certainly know what Max Verstappen is capable of.
Well, they're in P7, so not necessarily where they'd like to be. Could be a challenge, all right.
And the time has come. Let's go racing. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
Where we're going straight away, we see Perez and Stroll going for it, and the two Andrettis are going for it as well. We've got Pierre Gasly straight away on the inside line. That's going to turn to the outside for this next right-hander and just settle into this now. Hulkenberg in P10, Gasly P11, Ocon fighting with, I believe that's an Audi of Valtteri Bottas. Remember, the lap record holder here in P12, and Ocon looks like early on he's struggling to keep in front of Valtteri Bottas. If we just have a little check on the tyre situation, Bottas is on the medium compound of tyre, as is Hulkenberg and Norris that's in front of Gasly. Lance Stroll is on the soft compound of tyre as well. He's taken the lead from Checo Perez. Checo Perez actually in pole position, but there's moves being made up and down the order at this moment in time, but Lance Stroll is definitely going in front as Fernando Alonso goes for a move on Charles Leclerc. The medium runners seem to be doing well at the start of this race. We can see Gasly now definitely getting those tyres up to temperature, trying to attack the Haas of Nico Hulkenberg, and meanwhile Esteban Ocon just deciding to settle in behind Valtteri Bottas. Early doors here, we've pushed on the fuel, we've got the tyres going, and now we can start just managing it a little bit. But like I said, both our guys on the two-stop strategy, but Stroll leads on lap 1. Esteban Ocon is having a shocking start to this Grand Prix. The Hugo Boss car of Yuki Tsunoda getting down the inside into the tight right-hander, and that is very disappointing indeed. The medium tyres firing up better than the softs at this moment in time. food for thought as we go into the second half of this Grand Prix. Maybe we need to be on the medium compounder tyre, but we're trying to just make sure both cars are getting into the DRS of the cars in front now. Gasly trying to catch back up with Hulkenberg and Ocon with Tsunoda, but at the moment that new rear wing not quite paying dividends as we expected it to. Lap 3. Lap 5, Esteban Ocon, he needed to get past Valtteri Bottas, and he certainly has done. Second helping of DRS down the start-finish straight, managing to get it done before turn 1, and Esteban Ocon seems to have now got the tyres where he wants them, and he's now back behind his teammate, although out of DRS, but we are pushing to try and get him back in DRS, and it must be said, even Gasly, he's not enjoying his time at the moment on these soft compound tyres, trying to catch up with Nico Hulkenberg. He's still getting the DRS, but hopefully Ocon can reel him into lap 5. We've got a crash on circuit. I was just about to come back and tell you all about the running order as it stands on lap 10, but we're going to see this, and it's Tsunoda and Bottas just crashing into each other. There's no safety car, nothing like that. Lewis Hamilton, we can see battling his way through at the back. But yeah, no safety cars given. The Hugo Boss, possibly the best kitted out team on the grid at this moment in time. But we're on lap 8. Our two guys now just starting to latch onto the back of this DRS train. Esteban Ocon told to hold position as well. So at this moment in time, we're pretty happy where we are. Lance Stroll leading the Grand Prix from Checo Perez. Then Leclerc and Alonso. There's definitely a four-way fight for the lead at this moment in time. George Russell is in P5, followed by Magnussen and Verstappen P6 and 7. Carlos Sainz just about staying in touching distance in P9. Sainz P8, Norris P9, Hulkenberg P10. Then come the two Andrettis of Gasly and Ocon. And Pierre Gasly just starting to move forward a little bit. He saw Nico Hulkenberg starting to drop off the pace a little bit. That Haas can eat its tyres a little quicker than the Andretti's. We've always been good on his tyres in this team so far. And Pierre Gasly is past him. And it's got to be said, it wasn't too long before Esteban Ocon followed him through as well. So Esteban Ocon is past Nico Hulkenberg as well. And we're very much in the fight for points today. It'll be intriguing to see what strategies the AI use. But on lap 12, it's P10 and P11 with Stroll still leading. Perez dropping back to P3. Lap 21, and it's coming up to our pit stops now. And Pierre Gasly has just managed to get past Nico Hulkenberg in that Haas car. Beautiful work from him before the chicane. Lovely work round the outside. Gets a helping of DRS as well. And you can see Esteban Ocon in the background. We're going to get Esteban Ocon in first. We're going to leave Pierre Gasly out another lap, but Esteban Ocon will be in this lap. Okay. And in comes Esteban Ocon. Now, this is going to be an interesting sighter for where we can expect Pierre Gasly to come out as well if we get a decent pit stop, which we do. It's a 2.7 second pit stop. We've been resting the guys up a little bit, trying to just watch that fatigue. So Esteban Ocon into the pits. I'm hoping he's going to come out in a nice little bit of clean air, get these tyres up to temperature, and then we can really start motoring on from there. That's the plan at least. He's going to be told to be aggressive on the overtakes. He comes out with the back of the pack, but Esteban Ocon now on to the medium compounded tyre. So with Pierre Gasly coming out, Esteban Ocon coming out in the position he has, 2 seconds, we've decided we're going to stick Pierre Gasly on the other strategy. We're going to keep him on the one stop. The only decision we've got to make is, does he go on to mediums or hards in the later stages? We're going to see how long we can make these tyres last. But certainly going on to the mediums may be an option towards the end. I mean, these other cars, let's have a little look at the moment. 65%, 70% for Norris on 23 laps. So there's an option to go on to the mediums for Pierre Gasly. We're going to monitor this as we go along. But Esteban Ocon is starting to close on these bike markers and trying to get these tyres up to temperature. Lap 23. Lap 27, you join us back. Esteban Ocon is stuck in this DRS train at this moment in time. We'll get a little look at one of his overtakes. He's just overtaken the Audi of Mick Schumacher. We can see this little train in front of us. Now, we've pulled a very, very different strategy with Pierre Gasly today, and I will show you what that is very, very shortly. As Ocon got past him, we're starting to see a few cars pit, Magnussen namely being one of them. That's quite an interesting camera. But yeah, Pierre Gasly at this moment in time now is going to be running long on the soft compounded tyre. And the plan is to then go on to the mediums towards the end. But we want to do around 32 laps on this soft compound tyre. I'm very conscious that Pierre Gasly can do that. Esteban Ocon has got to start getting through this traffic to make this two-stop work, because at the moment it's not working for him. Lap 27, Alonso leads from Perez. Gasly is on a really different strategy now. And Esteban Ocon is definitely getting on with it. He's negotiated 2 or 3 cars in a couple of laps, and we can see now with the DRS getting past Valtteri Bottas. He's got past one Audi car, now he's past the other, and he's looking at the cars in front, and these medium compounder tyres seem to be working very, very well for this Andretti Cadillac at the moment. And his next target is Zhou Guanyu, and we've got a safety car on the circuit, and that is going to mean that Pierre Gasly is brought in. We'll come back when we get the incident. So, incident, it's Oscar Piastri down in P18. Let's have a little look at what happens here. He just gets a little bit trigger happy on the throttle, smashes it into the barriers. That has brought out a safety car. If I'm not mistaken, Oscar Piastri had this issue in the last race, the broken rear wing, so he's smashing a few of those up. Pierre Gasly has been told to box this lap. He's going to now be going onto the medium compounder tyres. As we can see, the guys at the front, this has spelled beautifully for those guys. Pierre Gasly, let's have a look. What are they all going on to is the key question. If we have a look at Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll, what's Alonso onto? I think he's onto the hard compounder tyres. So a lot of guys going onto the hards. We're going onto the mediums because we think we can make this work. We're going to leave Esteban Ocon out, I believe, because he's on these medium compounder tyres. Doesn't need to be worried about it. He may even be able to go to the end, Esteban Ocon. He might jump a few positions here. Let's have a look. Where is he? He's just coming down towards the wall of champions. As Esteban Ocon comes out, we can see Gasly is still in P9 at the moment. Where is Ocon? He's gained a few positions as Esteban Ocon. Obviously, he's not pit. He can see his teammate in front of him. And is Gasly going to get out in front of Esteban Ocon? He certainly is. Magnussen in P10, Ocon P11. Everybody pitting. Perez onto the soft compounder tyre, as is Russell. So a couple of guys on 2 stops. We're on the 1 stop. We'll come back when we're back to green flag running. Safety car has ended, and Checo Perez will be leading us away in pole position on the soft compounder tyre. Alonso obviously going to the end. Perez, I would imagine, is going to stop again. Gasly going to the end. Ocon, the decision is there. Do we box him again? Do we not? We've got a couple of interesting decisions to make with Esteban Ocon, and once again he's under pressure from a Haas car. I'm very keen to ensure that we stay in contact of the DRS now with both cars. I don't want Ocon really battling the way he is doing at this moment. We're going to just tell him to deploy a little bit as well. But Pierre Gasly, I'm very keen that he stays in the DRS of Lando Norris. We've got another yellow flag on set. We've got a red flag, session suspended, red flag on circuit. What on earth has just happened there? Let's have a little look at this situation. Alexander Albon fighting with the Mercedes. We've got Esteban Ocon in front of him. Please make sure he doesn't get hit. They just run into each other. I'm not sure that should be a red flag. Maybe damage to the barriers. But we will come back at the strategy screen because now we've got more decisions to make. So guys, we are back again for another restart. This time it's Perez versus Alonso on the front row. Now we have split them again. Pierre Gasly's on the medium compounder tyre and Esteban Ocon on the hard compounder tyre because that is all he got left, really. I didn't want to put him on to the medium compounder tyre and leave him on those ones, 80-odd% tyres. I wanted him on fresh hard compounder tyre, and now is the time for Esteban to really make it work. Both cars on deploy, both cars on aggressive on the restart. We want to be really attacking here straight away, but Pierre Gasly, this has not done his race a lot of harm. It's not done Esteban Ocon's race a lot of harm, to be fair. These guys on soft compound tyres, are they going to be able to make it to the end? I would significantly doubt it, as we can watch Zhou Guanyu getting a good restart, attacking Esteban Ocon into this chicane. So we'll let this settle down a bit, and then we'll come back once we're all settled in. But Pierre Gasly in P9, he's got all medium compound tyre runners near him. Esteban Ocon, he's going to be... This will come to Esteban Ocon, I am sure. Lap 36. My word, we've got another crash on circuit, and it's Fernando Alonso and Checo Perez. These two coming together. And what on earth is happening here? There's just a little bit of a tap there. Fernando Alonso losing part of his front wing, I would imagine. So Fernando Alonso, as he got damaged now, he's dropping back a little bit. And I'll be interested to see if either of these guys decide to pit. Pierre Gasly settled into this quite nicely back in P9. And now Esteban Ocon's got those hard tyres working. He's doing the same. So both cars very much on the cards for points today. I'm holding out hope that Esteban Ocon, this is going to really come to him towards the end. We've got a penalty, I would imagine. I can't quite see who that's for, as it's decided not to tell us. But Fernando Alonso doesn't look to have too much damage because he's going back at Checo Perez again. Checo Perez on softs, as is Fernando Alonso, and these two are having a right ding-dong battle here in Montreal this afternoon. And to be fair, it's great to see Lance Stroll's in P3, Verstappen in P4. We can see Gasly once again just looking at the back of this Ferrari. We're pushing on the fuel, trying to get rid of that fuel as quickly as we possibly can. And Esteban Ocon, it will come to him. He has just got to be patient. Lap 43. And this time, I think we've got a crash again, but this time it's involving Esteban Ocon. Let's have a little look at this. Same position, really. Ricciardo comes back on, shoves Esteban to the side, and then Esteban cuts across the Audi. I believe that's Valtteri Bottas. I'm not too sure, but he has got front wing damage. But at the moment, we are going to leave him out there because I don't really see the point of bringing him in. We'll have to see how much time he loses. It's only minor, so maybe he will be able to manage it. But Pierre Gasly is still fighting to stay in touch with Norris and Sainz in front. Sainz has actually managed to get past now. But Esteban Ocon going to be very, very interesting indeed to see how this affects his lap times. And if it affects it too much, we will have to bring him in. I'm not quite sure what's happening with these investigations at the top. We don't seem to be getting any penalties or anything like that. But Esteban Ocon already losing positions. We may have to be bringing him in shortly. And on lap 53, there was nothing else to do but bring Esteban into the pits. He's coming onto the soft compounded tyre. We're going to give it a couple, well, maybe around 10 laps. If we don't see anything doing, we don't really want to get a DNF. We've had a bad pit stop as well. To be honest with you, I wish I'd have just bloody retired him now. It must be said. But, yeah, Esteban Ocon not having the best of afternoons. He's tried the two-stop, the optimal strategy, but it's not quite worked out for him as he wanted to. But an 8.5 second stop, that's not the end of the world, to be fair, with a new front wing. So Esteban back out in 17th. Gasly is still very much in this fight for points today. I mean, I reckon P7 could be on the cards here. Depending on whether these guys in front decide to pit as well. Will these guys in front, especially Perez, Alonso and Russell, decide to pit again? But they've nearly got a pit stop to Lando Norris in P7, lap 53. Yeah, Gasly coming towards the final few laps has managed to do what I was really trying to get him to do and get past the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. His tyres are dying and now he can see Lando Norris in the McLaren in front of him. It's got to be said, if you watch my last year's F1 Manager series, Gasly and Lando were my two favourite drivers, and now Gasly is very much on the back of Lando Norris, and we're just going to be very patient here because I'm hoping once we get past him, we might get past him at the right time. If we just have a look at the tyre situation, Sainz's tyres are dead. Lando's actually got better tyres than us at this moment. Esteban Ocon, by the way, he's driving really well at the bike. Last lap time a 1:15.0, so he's doing very, very well indeed without DRS. He's closed the gap to 8 seconds on the back of the pack. But here goes Pierre Gasly as we switch to the television view. He's past Lando Norris. He gets past him beautifully and he's up into P7. We are now thinking, was it possibly the time to just leave Esteban Ocon there because we took him out of the fight on the two-stop? Maybe we should have really kept him in the fight, but we didn't. However, Pierre Gasly up into P7, and hopefully now we can try and run away from the McLaren of Lando Norris. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz is dropping like a stone down to P10. The DRS around here is so powerful. Pierre Gasly not getting DRS down the long straight. Norris got him, and then Magnussen got him on the start-finish straight. So we've got 2 more laps to go. This final lap, it could be a masterclass from Gasly, or we could be down in P9. It's going to be a very, very tight ending to this as we're just going round on the penultimate lap. Pierre Gasly just latching onto the back of Magnussen and Norris, but I would hope that maybe we'll get one more chance. But lap 69 will come back when we're on to the final lap. And as we come on to the final lap, the unthinkable happened. Pierre Gasly made a mistake, and he has lost DRS of Lando Norris and Magnussen. Not only that, Nico Hülkenberg, of all people, has got past him. This is a disaster from Pierre Gasly. Now we're looking at P7. Now we're looking at holding on to P10. I don't know if he's got something wrong with his car. Something's gone wrong. But look at the pace difference. Have his tyres just dropped off? Nico Hülkenberg's on soft compound tyres at this moment in time that are actually dead. So this, as we're going to ride on board with Pierre Gasly now round the final few corners of this lap, the final sector of this final lap, we can see at the front just while this is going on. Lance Stroll leading from Checo Perez. There's battles all over here. But I'm hoping Pierre Gasly is going to get one last chance to get P9 back. Lance Stroll's made it through. There's a big fight on between Russell and Verstappen. They managed to get it done. Alonso's going to come home in P6 with the fastest lap. So it's now all on Nico Hülkenberg. And look at the gap. This is a little bit unexplainable, it must be said. I don't know where Pierre Gasly's pace has just suddenly dropped off an absolute cliff. There's nothing to be said on the powertrain, the aerodynamics, everything looks fine. But something has seriously gone wrong with Pierre Gasly's car. And he finishes P10. And that is a very, very disappointing weekend for Andretti Cadillac. But a very good one for Lance Stroll. Let's get to the podium.
Now, Esteban Ocon won't be in a hurry to talk about that race today.
Having to retire early will no doubt be a bitter disappointment. But today is done, and it's all about looking forward.
And here we see another career podium for Canada's Lance Stroll.
We can't quite imagine how that must feel. It's their first F1 victory after all.
And there we have it, Lance Stroll picking up the winner's trophy, beating a Red Bull in the process. Who knows, could Lance Stroll compete with Max Verstappen this year? We shall see. Lance Stroll finished from Checo Perez. We've got Charles Leclerc in P3, Russell P4, Verstappen P5. We have to go all the way down to P10 to find Pierre Gasly, and poor old Esteban Ocon was out of the Grand Prix, interestingly. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. We've had a very weird, glitchy sort of Grand Prix this weekend. Verstappen's on 200 points from Checo Perez, 44 points in front of him. Gasly retains P8, but Kevin Magnussen jumps above Esteban Ocon into P9. Constructors standings-wise, we scored just a solitary point to take us on to 49 points. Mercedes scored 12, but Red Bull are leading the way by some distance. I hope you've enjoyed that one. A little bit glitchy. We weren't getting the investigation notifications, things like that, but we do score a point in the end, and we'll be on to the next one. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next race weekend. Ta-ra!